And welcome back to WXVU V89 The Roar's coverage of the 17th annual Bone Marrow Drive here at Villanova University in the Connolly Center on the campus of Villanova. I'm your host, Stephen Cain, alongside my co-host, Ryan Scanlon, and we're welcoming in a special guest, sophomore quarterback Michael Benincasa. Michael, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So we'll just jump right into it here. So you ended up becoming a match. You ended up donating your stem cells a couple of weeks ago. Can you walk us through that moment when you found out that you were a match? What was kind of your initial reaction to that?
Yeah, so I got a call towards the end of the season around November, and someone from NMDP called me and they asked, do you want to be a match, or you're potentially a match for someone with leukemia, 65-year-old male in the United States? And obviously I was super excited. I told him, I'm going to talk to my parents about this, I'm going to get back to you, and then ended up having to go get some blood work done about a week or two later. Came back that I was definitely a potential match, and then I had to go get more blood work done to make sure I was the final match. Ended up getting the call around end of January that I was the perfect match for the person. Ended up going up to New York a couple weeks ago, donating my stem cells for this person. Obviously a great experience, great time.
Yeah, just Mike, just take us through your experience with being on this team. You know, walk on. Maybe you do know something about this Bone Marrow Drive, but as you get acclimated with the guys, just being around, our program, just seeing everybody with their QR codes hanging down. What does it mean to you that you're a match? What does it mean to the whole rest of our guys that they're around the campus community trying to pitch? Just take a couple seconds and swab your mouth.
Yeah, obviously last year was when I donated and swabbed the cheek, and I realized how important it was to the whole team, to Coach Talley, to Coach Ferrante, and obviously what a great cause this was. And I honestly thought it was such a slim chance that I'd ever even be a match, and then ended up getting a call less than a year later. And it was just unbelievable. Great timing. Thank God I was able to do it.
Yeah, definitely. And again, we want to emphasize that this isn't some arduous process. As Ryan said, it is just like you get swabbed a couple seconds, cotton swab in your mouth, and then you're part of the registry after signing up. But people do, again, have some concerns. Maybe they aren't the most knowledgeable about it. Did you have any of those challenges, concerns that you had going into the donation process?
Not necessarily concerns about the process, more just the timing of it.
Okay.
It actually worked out because obviously with the stem cells, you have to take shots for a couple of days before, and it roughs you up a little bit. I had a bit of a headache. My body was a little achy, but thank God that was during spring break, so I didn't miss any workouts, practice. And I ended up donating on Monday, and I was back to practice on Tuesday. Obviously a little limited there, but still was able to get back to practice the very next day. So
you talked about practice. I've been there to see it because as listeners know, may not know, I'm a football manager on the team, and we've been battling it out and trying to get to another successful season. But for you, what's been spring practice like for the people that don't know quite yet what our 2025, 2026 Wildcats can do?
I think we have a great opportunity. We have young guys stepping up in huge roles. Our defense looks fantastic. Our O-line's really coming together. Obviously, pretty much everyone's returning on the offensive line. Our receivers are getting there. Our running backs look great. Obviously, we have Dave. We have Rags. Eli looks good. Isaiah Wright looks good. Everyone looks good in the running back room, and obviously quarterbacks all looking great. Tanner and Pat playing well right now. It's going to be a fun battle coming into the camp.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. And again, from a football perspective, how's your experience from the Haverford School and then transferring over from Franklin and Marshall? How have those experiences helped you to be a quarterback at Villanova?
Coming from Haverford, I've always been a Villanova fan my whole life. To be able to play here has always been a dream of mine, and when the opportunity arose, I had to take that opportunity.
You cannot pass up something that you've worked so hard for, and in your high school days at the Haverford School, I've heard so many great things coming out of the Haverford School. And just take us through when you came into Franklin Marshall. Just on the sidelines with Ryan Kennedy during last couple spring practices. You were involved with the coaches, but then take us through when Coach Ferrante gave you that call.
So I had an idea coming in that I was going to be able to walk on coming into the spring. Obviously, couldn't participate in the fall of 23 because I transferred so late, but it made me realize how much I miss football, being away from the team, being away from the guys. Transferred into Nova. It was a little tough, just kind of standing there waiting for my opportunity, but obviously took full advantage of it when that springtime came.
Yeah, definitely exciting. And Ryan and I were talking about actually before you came on, Michael, about the schedule for 2025 got released. What game out of all of them? I know it's early, but what game are you looking forward to most to taking part in?
It's tough first season without playing Delaware, obviously.
Yeah.
The Monmouth game should be cool. Obviously our opener against Colgate, and it's tough to ignore the Penn State game because of how awesome an experience that'll be. Hopefully we can go up there and shock the world. Other than that, I think the Monmouth game will be exciting. I'm looking forward to the Albany game because Albany has a lot of guys from Haverford that I played with in high school. So getting a chance to catch up with those guys after the game, see how they're doing, will be great.
Yeah, which leads me into our next question. Being a local Philly kid, right? You look at our last couple of games, going to Maryland, having Army my freshman year when you weren't here, but seeing the record of playing top schools in the area, but being from Haverford, I know you weren't like a huge Penn State fan like you mentioned, but having Penn State on our schedule, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? Just growing up in the Philly area and taking that 4-hour trip to Happy Valley in the fall.
I've been up to a couple Penn State games. Obviously, wouldn't consider myself growing up a huge Penn State football fan, but I do have a lot of buddies up there. They'll be going to the game. It's really cool for my family to go up, for a lot of friends that are going to be there. They're already talking to me like, hey, going to the Penn State game, I already got a hotel room. So it's just going to be a really cool experience to be able to play in front of 100,000 people.
Yeah, it'll be really exciting. Again, we'll be looking forward to that. That'll be September 13th. So, again, mark your calendars for that. Michael, just wanted to ask you, again, the quarterback room overall at Villanova, how tightly knit is that group right now? I know you're going through spring practices. How would you describe that bond that you guys have so far?
Some of those guys are my best friends, obviously. We're all very close.
Yeah.
Coach Bowden probably gets a little annoyed with us because sometimes we get off topic in meetings, but it's all love. Obviously, Pat came in the spring from Nicholls State. He's a great kid. He's meshed really well. Tanner, I've known Tanner since junior year of high school. I was invited to his wedding. Couldn't go because I was at my high school graduation.
Yeah.
But Dylan Mills came in last year. Great kid. Very close to Robbie Russo. Known Jack Ryder forever. All just great guys.
Yeah, it's such a great I've seen you guys, in practice, it's just that mentality just to – you can walk in off the field, but when it's on the field, it's strictly all business.
Yeah.
So it's great to see from a manager perspective. But the reason why we're here today on this podium is Bone Marrow Drive. So what is your advice if someone gets a swab today and they get that call? What piece of advice, if they do get that call, can you give them in order to save a life?
I would just say to them, just realize who's on the other side of that donation is the main thing. You're giving someone a second opportunity to save a life, and you don't know what that can do for not only them, but their family and everyone around them, and how tough it can be for them dealing with either a blood disease, blood cancer, leukemia, etc. If they ever need stem cells or potentially bone marrow, that you're giving them a second opportunity at life, and realize how special that is for them. Which is why I think, obviously, how can you turn that down, in my opinion? Yeah, definitely a big thing to focus on, definitely to consider for, again, students, athletes that may be hesitant to join the registry. This stuff, again, can save lives. It could really make a difference. And Michael, again, with Villanova football, they've been such a great advocate for this great cause. But how do you think, again, like other college sports teams, programs could play a bigger role in raising awareness for this great cause? I think as many people that we can get into the registry as possible is obviously huge because it is difficult to find a match. And all these people are like, oh, where does all this blood transplant come from? It's because of the registry. It's because of this Be the Match program, because of NMDP. They're doing something for such a great cause. And the more people that can get into the registry, obviously, the better.
Yeah, you talk about saving another person's life and looking upon what you're giving, but your own family must be really proud.
Yeah, they are. They are definitely very proud of me. I went up to New York with my dad. Obviously, I've had my whole family text me, my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles. They're all just, they were 100% supportive of me and really excited, really happy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, which is great to hear again, because again, this is a process that is very important to a lot of people, and it's very important to consider. And just one more question, Michael. Again, you talked about you gave a couple quotes in an article written by Dylan Johnson, a friend of WXVU, about the Bone Marrow Drive, and you talked about how your grandmother's passing, it made this experience very personal for you. How did that influence your decision to end up donating?
I mean, obviously, she passed away last summer, so just doing something that I know she would be proud of me for and something that she needed, it was really a no-brainer for me to do that. Not necessarily in honor of her, but just because I know how proud she would be of me for doing it.
Yeah, it's certainly tough when you have something going on in the family, and you talk about honoring your grandmother in such a fond way. Any expectations for the season that you can do in honor? What sort of techniques that you do to honor your grandmother on the field?
I mean, obviously, I just feel like she's always here with me, on the field, off the field. I would call her almost every day. So just kind of feeling that she's in my presence is obviously something that I take with me every day.
That's well put, Mike. And personally, I'm grateful to know you, and certainly looking forward to a great season. Put you back into football terms. Coming off another 10-win season. Any expectations for this following season? Now you touched a bit about the quarterback room, the wide receiver, you name it, but any expectations overall as a team that they can gain better?
I mean, we always try to pride ourselves on process-oriented, not goal-oriented, so we're just taking it one day at a time. We got to win tomorrow. We have to have a great practice tomorrow. Have to have a great spring ball. Have everyone back for summer workouts. Great workouts every day, 100%. And then going into camp, obviously just taking it one day at a time, just getting better, getting comfortable, and then obviously when that first game comes, just come 1-0 each day. Yeah,
that's very huge for Villanova. Again, trying to capitalize off of, we were talking about it before you came on, just again a great season in 2023, winning the CAA and then making the FCS playoffs again in 2024. Really looking forward to it. But Michael, any just final words about, again, thanks for again taking the time to sit down with us and be part of the interview process, but just any final words about this great initiative and cause?
I mean, I would just say to anyone that's thinking about joining the registry, 100% do it. There's no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
And you have an opportunity to save a life, might as well go do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's that simple. Well, again, thank you, everybody. Michael Benincasa, sophomore walk-on QB for Villanova. Again, thank you again for taking the time to be with us today, and some really great stuff. So we're going to take a quick break here on WXVU 89.1 The Roar. We'll get reset. And coming up at 11:30, we'll have an interview with Carol Weingarten from VU Nursing and Haley Falzone at 11:30. Ryan and I will interview those people, and you don't want to miss it. We'll be right back with more.